Well, first of all, thank you very much. It's an enormous pleasure to be here in Iași with the Romanian government, with ADV Foundation. I was here 2 years ago, and I think that it's very important to pay tribute to the efforts that you do, to you, Angela, personally, to the teams that you lead. What we did in San Sebastian is very similar to what is happening here today. At the end of the day, what is happening here today is that we are gathering actors that believe that social economy is part of the future of our economies, a key part of the future of our economies. Today here you're gathering the European Commission, your national government, other governments that are happy to join hands and efforts to promote social economy in the European Union, local governments, practitioners and experts from the whole European Union and entrepreneurs. This is the same thing that we did in San Sebastian on the 13 and 14 November last year, during the Spanish presidency of the Council. We gathered 600 people on that occasion, and it was right after the adoption by the 27 member states in the Council of this Council recommendation on social economy framework conditions. So the declaration at the end of the day, what shows is the willingness to do things together, to do revolutions, to do changes together. What we need to understand is the context in which we operate. We operate in a context, in a post-COVID, post-crisis context, in which the European Union has established that social economy is one of the 14 industrial ecosystems for the future of our European Union. Proximity and social economy. And it is because it is an economy that never delocalizes. It is because it is an economy that naturally is a driver of social, environmental, and economic innovation. An economy that leaves no one behind, that is based on including everybody in the labor market, on building cohesive societies, an economy that naturally replies again to the needs of the local communities. And that's what Europe needs, together with other things, but that's an essential part of what our countries and the European Union need. We need companies that drive the ecological and the digital transition, but make sure that it's fair and just. That drive a new way of doing business in so many ways. That's to reply to your answer, I think that that's what we agreed to do together in San Sebastian, what the 27 member states have agreed to do together in the framework of this Council recommendation on social economy framework condition that obliges all of us, it indicates all of us that in 2 years from the adoption, in 24 months from the adoption of the Council recommendation, we all need to have national strategies on social economy. Maybe if I have the time, if not, yes. I leave it for the next...
If you want to add something, of course...
I would love to...
We need, yes, indeed, short answers, as we have only an hour for this debate, but please.
But we have a second round, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, then I wait for the second round, and thanks again for the opportunity to be here once again.
Mă întorc la domnul Víctor Meseguer. As you wish. We know that Spain is a state with good practices regarding the investment in the development of social enterprises. And we would like shortly to say us a few examples of investments in this area.
Perfect. Let's go for it. It's exactly what I do, so I have no issue in sharing practices about that. First of all, maybe some also a bit more of perspective. I mean, something very important for us, the social economy in Spain is quite structured, it's 10% of the GDP, 10% of employment, 43,000 entrepreneurial units, businesses.
Huge, I would say, yes.
Yeah. So that's the reality of that employ 2.8 million people, direct and indirect jobs. That's the reality of the Spanish social economy. The Spanish social economy has existed since very long. It's not something new, and it's not something that the public sector has driven. It comes bottom up. It comes from initiatives like ADV Foundation. Today here you have the colleagues of Mondragon Corporation and Mondragon University. Now this corporation, which is formed particularly by cooperatives, has 70,000 employees in Spain and all over the world. And I mean, it's a huge group with cooperatives in the car sector, with universities, biotechnology, healthcare, trains, innovation. So I mean, it's a huge sector that it's not made from the night, from yesterday to today. It's the result of history, collective efforts, and also, of course, of a framework that helps that to exist. They also have a bank, one very important cooperative bank, and so on and so forth. Something very important for us, indeed, it was the legal framework. In 2011, Spain was the first country in having a social economy law, in approving a social economy law in the European Union. The country did it with consensus of all the political parties, because again, social economy was considered to be a driver for the future of the country. And today, in terms of government structure, we have a Ministry of Labor and Social Economy. You met with the Vice President, with Yolanda Díaz in La Hulpe. We have a State Secretary for Social Economy, which is Amparo Merino, and was in Liège, a Deputy State Secretary, which is myself, in charge of the European funds for social economy, the Next Generation EU funds for social economy, and a Director General for social economy. That's the government structure, which we have one minister that coordinates the policy, but actually we have more than 10 ministers involved in boosting the policy. That's also very important. Social economy is an interministerial. It's all over the place. It is important for the Ministry of Economy, for the Ministry of Digital Transformation, for the Ministry of Ecological Transition. It is important for housing, because social economy is everywhere. When the Next Generation EU funds arrived to Spain, and we had the opportunity to design, thanks to the negotiation that was done at European level, a recovery and resilience plan, we established 12 strategic investment plans that are, let's say, the main structure of our recovery effort, the pillars of our recovery efforts. One of these 12 plans focuses on care and social economy. Actually, it's social economy and care. The overall budget is 1,700 million euros devoted to social economy and care. We are working together, these 10 ministries, all of them coordinated by the Ministry of Labor and Social Economy and by Vice President Yolanda Díaz. Us particularly, we manage a budget of 100 million euros for the social economy. I mean, as I said, that's the total budget. The part, we coordinate it all, but the part we manage is 100 million euros. We have done a couple of call for proposals, call for grants. We have established priorities of what we want to boost through these 100 million euros in investments, in grants to the social economy. Of course, we are boosting projects, any project in the ecological transition coming from social economy. I'm talking about circular economy, but I'm also talking about forestry. I'm also talking about sustainable agriculture. We are talking about renewable energy production, in which the social economy potential is huge, and so on and so forth. Also, for instance, shared mobility and electrical mobility projects driven by the social economy sector. We have an investment plan for the digitalization of the social economy sector, an investment plan for alliances, because again, creating clusters, not only between social economy entities, but sometimes with the private sector, sometimes with universities, sometimes with the public sector. Creating an alliance is also to be better known, to launch campaigns to attract consumers. I know that in Romania you have an expertise in bi-social campaigns, as the colleagues from NC are also pushing at European level. But the idea is that together, social economy companies can say to consumers, okay, very good, we have the Black Friday, but what if you turn towards responsible producers? What if you turn towards social economy producers? So we have this plan for alliances, a plan for social economy startups, and a plan for transformation of traditional companies into social economy companies. This is also very important. We have a lot of companies with no successor, in which workers, many times, through the cooperative form or through other forms, the work integration social enterprise could also work. So they can take over the activity and continue the activity. The business is sustainable, it doesn't need to close, and maybe there is people in the local community that has the ability to continue in the business through a social economy form. The second call for grants was launched very short ago. It was launched in January this year. We were offering 80 million euros for these priorities that I just described, and the demand was of 105 million euros. That's the demand coming from the social economy sector. More than 400 projects were presented, were submitted to this call, and And yeah, basically, I think that we have the demand is guaranteed, so the 80 million euros will be executed. I wanted to tell you all the things that I don't want to forget. It's not only those efforts. By the way, those grants, and very much aligned with European legislation, what they do is that they offer 50% of the investment for SMEs. So if you are an SME and you're opening a new factory, you're opening a new shop, you're buying a new machine, 50% of the investment is given through a grant. And if you are a large social economy company, and we have many large social economy countries in the country, you receive 15% of the investment as a grant. That's how it works. But this is just a small fraction of what we do, again, through an interministerial effort. The government is just launching a social impact fund, fees, which is also in the universe of the social economy, with 400 million euros, not in grants, but in credits towards social economy. And social economy is a priority investment. What I want to say also is that social economy is truly a revolution an entrepreneurial revolution. It is not here to substitute the existing entrepreneurial scheme. It is here to enrich, to make it richer. Social economy can come from hard entrepreneurship, business people like Angela and leaders as Angela that are starting new businesses, but also from citizenship initiatives. And this is huge. Again, renewable energy cooperatives, people producing their own energy because technology now allows. I mean, this is massive for our economies. This is massive for our competitiveness. Many people are producing their energy in the top of their houses or through communities, through cooperatives. This, by the way, first of all, makes community because people is doing initiatives together, driving initiatives together, and second, make us benefit from lower prices in energy, which is also huge in the current inflationist crisis. Social economy is huge in housing in my country. People is deciding, you know that we have a housing crisis in the European Union, and you know that accessing housing in cities is more and more complicated because prices are going up. People are designing together their houses. They are building together their houses, and they are also designing them according to their interest and their needs, thinking that they will become old, and they don't want to go to a residence, they don't want to go to a public sector institution, they don't want to be alone. They want to share spaces. They want to build community. They want to build mutual help mechanisms. So social economy is everywhere indeed. It is in industry, it is in education, it is in circular economy, it is in energy, everywhere, in shared mobility, in mobility programs, all over the place, in services, and we have a lot of entrepreneurs. I truly believe that we need to support that. Not only because, I mean, it is pretty obvious the economic contribution that it does to our country and to the European Union, 2.8, the minister was saying the figures before, 30.6 million jobs, which is 6.3% of the working population in the European Union, and also 8% of the European GDP. So not only because it is huge, but also because it is an economy of reconciliation. It is an economy that makes citizens the drivers. We need a school of democracy, and social economy is that school of democracy. In a moment of crisis, we need citizens to come together and take their future in their hands. Also, I mean, going in this context in which we have fake news, a lot of polarization, a lot of conflict, we need citizens to share projects. Not share the same ideology, but share common projects to demonstrate that you can take your future into your hands and you can contribute to building your society. This is what social economy does. Those are the instruments that we have, and we are very happy to share them. Like in Romania, we are not very different. The European funds were very massive, very important for us to do this effort. And now, thanks to the European funds, we are piloting and thinking about the future. Thanks to this opportunity of Next Generation EU, we are thinking about new public policies that we can launch at national level. Thank you.
Thank you, Víctor Meseguer. Indeed, very impressive what is happening in Spain. I would say that we only made visible the social economy because it is everywhere in Romania, but it's not so visible, and it doesn't have the framework that we have in Spain, and it's good that you are willing to share these good practices, and maybe we will also implement it soon in Romania too. Thank you so much for your insights.